Quick greetings and welcome to another video. Um, I seem to want to start off with a discussion about the Moors. Yeah. So the message that's on my heart, and I believe is a message from the ancestors of America, the American Indian ancestors. It's been on my heart and in my mind ever since I heard the words come out of my mouth. And sometimes I think I said the ancestors, they come out of your mouth sometimes, and you'll say something and realize, later the how profound it was. And what was said was everybody has to claim a specific identity when it comes to their birthright. There is no birthright sharing. Based on what a man or a woman looks like. So you know for sure that you're being tricked when someone comes along and tries to persuade you that because you look alike, you are of the same uh, culture. You're of the same cultural background, you're of the same nationality, if they're going to use that word, you're you know, you're the same people. Uh Everyone else in the world understands this except the people that call themselves Moors. The Moors are looking for when it comes to the Moors, and Americans in particular, American Indians, what the Moors, if you kind of stand back and look at what's happening, they're inserting themselves very proactively. They're not waiting for you to come about this revelation that's never going to come, that you are them. They are proactively claiming that you are them. And what occurred to me is that it's like being stalked by someone who's obsessed with in some kind of way. And they just, I think there was a movie series called Single White Female or something like that. And it had to do with a female that became obsessed with another female and wanted to be her. It's, she just, she didn't value her own uh life, and she didn't value herself, and so she latched on to another woman, and over time she just molded herself into that woman until she literally had to take the woman, she or attempted to take the woman's life in her reach and her desire, her manic desire to be this woman. And I feel that this is what I'm sensing when I just stand back and look at how a Moor moves, how a Moor operates. And Moors are extremely seductive to American Indians, who basically, the American Indian is looking for the nearest exit uh 24/7, almost, out of being seen as a slave. So it's almost, you would think it's the perfect marriage. And it seems to make sense that you have this very, I don't know, pseudo heroic entity of the past that is seen as a conqueror versus being a slave, and they look like you, and so there is my chance to show the world I'm more than a slave. I have, you know, this other history. But do you, or are we so desperate for an esteemable identity that the first one that comes along, and they're very persuasive. Moors are, again, when you kind of stop and just look at what's in front of you, it's almost like a snake oil salesman. It's just the selling points are flying, and the constant, I come to see it as an overall ego rub. It's like the city mouse and the country mouse. The city mouse comes along and he seems to have some kind of uh knowledge and education that appears to be very impressive, and so an American Indian constantly being, mischaracterized and marginalized, discriminated against. The big city mouse comes, and again, it seems to be a marriage that is made in heaven, but it is actually an extension of colonization. It is a race of people that, because they look like you, you can't see that it is a colonization. It's a removing of your own identity and an invitation to take up another. And I really think people need to be very wary of anything that has you changing your name. That it's just deeper than you think it is. When you are named by your parents, uh, it is somewhat a connection to your whole family tree. It's your parents often giving you names that are important to them, and people that they knew or know of their family tree, that they are now bestowing upon their child in hopes of continuing some legacy that they knew of. And then you have some religious organization bowl you down with their doctrines, and you're ready to throw away your very precious name. This is something your mother and father gave you. And so it's a way of cutting yourself off. And then you're taking more like a generic name that, one of these names that when it comes to like an L or a Bay, these are very common names. Like it's almost like you're taking away your individuality to become part of what? Some caste system label? All Bays are such and such, and all L's are such and such. And then there's the Mohammeds, this it's you you just have to look at what you're doing. You're taking on other ancestors from other bloodlines. Yes, you are. And so it is a spiritual detaching. And the way I see it, if we are brothers based on the way we look, then why do you need me to change my name? If you recognize me as your brother, my name is, it really shouldn't be of, you should honor what my parents gave me. You're my brother, right? So why are you dishonoring my parents by asking me or requiring of me or prodding me to change my name? And I joined a host of other El Bays and Muhammad's and Ali's and stuff like that. Uh, and then it is it is a dishonoring on both ends because truly outside of a colonization grab, wouldn't it be somewhat dishonorable to bring people who are not of your bloodline into your family and by giving them your name? I mean, in colonization, of course it would work, right? But just as a overall dishonoring on both ends, the person who's changing their name and the person who is asking or prodding the person to change their name. It's a dishonoring of both sides. It's a cheapening of your own legacy. But when it comes to Moors, what an American Indian has to wonder, what do you want from me? Why are you so on fire to have me? If we are brothers already, what what is going on with the renaming? Why is that? And what I've concluded is that it must have something to do with taking that which belongs to you exclusively. What a Moore is not telling you is that he truly does not have the same birthright that you as an American Indian has. No matter, he can fool himself. But again, if you look at how he's operating, getting that American Indian to co-sign is key to taking his birthright, else the Moor wouldn't need you at all. So again, the question an American Indian has to ask, what does this person who calls himself a Moor, what does he want? What is it that he needs from me? Is it my birthright? Is it my the land of my my forefathers, my foremothers? And why is he so determined? What is his bloodline? What is he lacking? Well, we did read about the Sultan of Morocco, how he got in bed with our colonizer in order to get at our wealth. He was very motivated to get into a what a treaty of friendship with the United States, not the American Indians. Therein lies a clue. If we were brothers, the way Amor says we are, he would have been had trade with us without a third party, namely the United States corporation. He wouldn't have needed the United States corporation because he would have already had a long-standing relationship with his quote unquote brother nation, right? He didn't have that, y'all. And this is something that Moors really, they got to get out of their own way. You know, my mother always talked about an educated fool. And I hate to say it, but this is what I'm seeing here because there's a lot of knowledge there, but there's not too much common sense. And I think it's because what's happening is I think a Moor is literally just a soldier for a sultan. So he's I don't know if he's using his own faculties as much as he's going by a narrative that's being given to him by a sultan. And that narrative is, I need the wealth of this other nation, and I need you to go play the harlot. You're tell that person that you're related, and you look in the mirror, don't you look alike? That means we're the same people, and it does not. It does not mean we're the same. First of all, Morocco is a much younger uh, civilization. America is the oldest civilization. So there's another thing to look at. That means American Indians have an older age. They're a firstborn of America, right? Now, what I've come to realize is you cannot really talk about what made these two people that look alike uh unalike. We can't talk these things because the Moors have been telling lies, right? So it dawned on me, why do you insist on telling a narrative of where American Indians and Moors uh cross paths, shall we say, in let's say in a BC time frame, right? And because the lies of the Moors have been sold to the world, they cannot backtrack. And it is not for me as an American Indian to tell that story. That is a story that they will tell, but when they tell it, you will immediately become aware that they've been lying. And then you have to ask yourself, why have they been lying? What are they hiding? And I'm going to tell you, it's a reoccurring theme with them. What they're hiding is the fact that they were unwanted by our ancestors. And that's the best way to say it, because they're never going to tell this story. Because it would interfere with their religion. They can't tell this story. But American Indians should be very happy with that. What would happen if a Moor were to tell the whole entire truth? Is that they would have to give up the entire Islamic religion and go back to what was the ancient way. Why don't they want to go back to the ancient way? I think there's several reasons. One of them, from the best of my knowledge, is these are a people who one of the foremost uh, uh, motives for a Moor is the use of slavery. And I think our ancient spiritual systems did not support a slave narrative where the Moors, whether they're aware of it or not, their whole entire system is a hierarchy, where they they must have slaves. I mean, look, they have a sultan, right? And so that's a nobility. So what people I think are not always aware of is that they are worker bees. The Moors are like worker bees under a sultan that they, I think, rarely talk about, because you'd be aware that it's a caste system, it's a hierarchy. And American Indians have to we have to start to see the major differences. One being, again, Moors do not have a birthright in America. If they did, let's go with if. If they did, they are the ones who severed those ties when they chose colonizer religion. Okay. It seems that it's something that American Indians have to be reminded of. You were not Islamic, you were not Hebrew, you were not Christian before colonization arrived on your shores. Anyone who looks like you and they're telling you that it's all about Islam or it's all about being a Hebrew or it's all about being a Christian, you should know automatically that these people, whether they look like you or not, have been massively indoctrinated. And that indoctrination, in that indoctrination, American Indians were seen as heathenistic, because you did not practice these religions. So a Moor would have seen you, a real Moor, being real with himself, will say, we saw you as infidels because you did not follow Muhammad or Allah, for instance, okay? But you see, when you're a very skilled colonizer, you will put aside the religion and try every other way you can to convince the people that you're taking over, the birthright that you're taking from them. You will do anything to get it. The religion will come later. And you will drop all your little hints like Assalamu alaikum and all of that. So they will be dropping the hints all around you and then say it's not about religion. Again, you're lying. You're not being genuine there. You're being disingenuous, I should say. Because I think what it boils down to is anything to get people into a religion that is foreign to them. Foreign to them. And so then they have to create a history that seems to include American Indians that does not exist. It's not a good history. It's not one of camaraderie. It's a history of enmity, enemies, brothers who turned against each other. Okay. And they put it in their scriptures. They gave you hints in their scriptures. The thing is, what you're going to find is the scriptures are glorifying theft of birthright, because that's what they need. They need to be able to take your birthright. Indians are not Moors because they predate Moors. What your Moor is a younger mindset that thinks that they're smart enough and swift enough to outsmart their older brother, okay? If we're going with a brother narrative, like Cain and Abel were brothers, right? Jacob and Esau were brothers, right? That's the kind of brother a Moor is, whether he knows it or not. Some of them, I don't believe they're aware. They're lost in the look of a thing, and they're blinded by history. They're lost in the look of an American Indian. They're going to go with that. When all else fails, just say, look, you look like me and I look like you. We're brothers, we're related. But there are issues between these brothers. Again, one brother turned against the ancient ways and sought to create something new, shall we say. Then America becomes the new world. The brother turns so mercilessly against the older brother that he goes out into the world and pushes a narrative that his world was first, his world in Africa. That's his world, Africa. That's why Africa was based on nothing at all in reality, made the quote unquote motherland because the Moor was over there, not the American Indian. So the major difference between an American Indian and a Moor is that an American Indian has never left America to the point of becoming anything outside of America, shall we say. The Moor, regardless of how he got to Africa, whether it was Pangea or an expelling, uh, that is what he made his home. And we know, again, we know that he willingly made Africa his home because Africa, according to the Moors, true history, in his world, as his truth, Africa is his motherland. I will say that the Moor was rejected by his original mother. And we'll just leave it at that. This is a story that Moors don't know how to tell because, again, it will show up the lie. The lie that was perpetuated, once again, is that Africa is the old world and Europe is the one right behind her as an old world, and America is a new world. This is the paradigm that a Moor created. Why? Because the Moor is said to be of an African origin. And for all intents and purposes, this is actually the truth. This is the truth for the Moor. And we must let him not remove himself from that fundamental truth. And so, on that note, I want to share my screen. Okay, so we want to try to hear it from the horse's mouth. So we're reading from the Moorish Times. So this is basically a Moorish website talking about Moorish issues. MoorsTimes.com. Okay. Okay, so let's try to read this. Know for sure that a Moor, even if you read something like this that is completely of a Moorish origin, Moors are the best tail weavers this side of any weaving loom. They just have a different story for everything you could possibly throw at them. So then perhaps what will be said is, oh, those are not, that website is like some other Moors that ain't the real Moors, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But what they're saying here, you will find that this is the original story of the Moors. It has to change now because the birthright that they're attempting to steal, the birthright holders are waking up. So now the story is going to get a little edited. But what it's going to show is that, again, You've been lying to us, Moors. You've been lying to the whole entire world. You've been lying to yourself, but you will do that in the name of your deity, right? Because your deity, let's just say, lies are no big deal. Can we say it that way? Because that's what you're doing. You're flip-flopping like a pancake here. Okay. So let's start reading. The Moors, originally a group of people native to the region of present-day Morocco. Present-day Morocco. Does anybody want to tell us where present-day Morocco is located? Because the Moors, the more crafty wannabes, are saying that Morocco originated in America in 1856. When I tell you America is so much older than 1856, and you've got to be fucking kidding me if you want me to believe that that means you originated in America, especially when you have a whole history in Spain in the 700s. It took me a while to figure that out. And it's just that there's apparently some kind of spell going on that these pieces are never put together when a Moor is weaving his lives. I'm going to say this. Our Indians are very impressed with what they perceive to be a very rich, uh, affluent Moor, right? But when I tell you that the Sultan of Morocco was clearly, evidently very broke, that's what the articles said. He was so desperate for trade with America that he got in bed with the corporation that is occupying America called the United States. If a Moor supports that, clearly you're not my brother, okay? Me as an American Indian, if you are supporting my colonizer, there's just no way you can sit in my face and call yourself my brother. And I just have very choice words for you that I'm going to try not to say, but this is the blindness, the sweet blindness. Oh, sweet blindness. Yeah, this is the blindness that we're dealing with. Your sultan is making friendly with my colonizer. And yet you're going to sit in my face and tell me that you have my best interest as my brother. Yeah, your sultan, I think, is a little more true to his game. You're just the people that he dispatched to talk some nonsense to American Indians, right? Your sultan knew what he was after. I don't think you do as a quote unquote black Moor. Yeah, maybe your sultan is a little, maybe that's the one that we need to consult because it seems like the minions have a whole other narrative going on, right? Again, why do we speak like this? Why this attitude? I just can't stand the tactics that I use to take the only thing that would support me on earth, which is my land. How dare you try to use your silly wiles to take my land from me because you willfully chose a narrative attempting to usurp America with Africa. And now you're going to come and pop some BS. You need to go to Morocco. Anyway, the Moors, originally a group of people native to the region of present day Morocco, bordering the Numidians of the East and various Berber peoples, saw their name assigned to the rest of the Muslims, meaning they're Muslim as well, right? Of the Maghreb, Al Aqsa, Northwestern Africa. So where is this all taking place? Northwestern Africa. More, you are African. You are not American. And if you married into America, you still have a choice to make. Because in America, we're not entertaining Morocco, okay? We're not claiming Morocco. You're coming to a different land, okay? Morocco and America are not the same, okay? Only in the windmills of your Moroccan mind are they the same. When you come here and you marry into American Indian, if you're not uh conforming to our narrative and you're still holding on to a Moroccan one, what the ancestors are telling me is you need to go home. You're not going to make America Morocco. You're going to take your black ass over to Morocco and you're going to uh shall we say what is that? That you're gonna quit with the lip service and let your walking follow what you're talking. What if American Indians ever wake up all the way, you'll realize that what you have is a Moor coming over here, but he's not respecting your culture. No, he's not. He's going to come here and tell you so much about how you are him. And he's holding tight to his Morocco legacy. This is the kind of person that in the real world would have to be expelled because they don't respect the culture here. They're only marrying into it as a means to access the wealth of this land. That is it. When you don't respect the culture and you're just marrying into it because that's your dream of overtaking them, that this is not a welcome thing. And I think American Indians have a lot more getting real to do with Moors. You have someone that's coming here and disrespecting who you are, bowling you over with who they are. Then why did you come here? Again, to take your birthright. It's just plain and simple. Uh, American Indians, you have a choice to make. You're not going to turn America into Morocco, so just forget it. You're not going to get all American Indians, especially in this awakening, to believe that they are you. Okay, that's not going to work anymore. How about you retain your identity and stop trying to change someone else's? Okay, that's what you need. Maintain yourself. Get a hold of yourself. Get real. A walking, talking colonizer love bomb. You're gonna what? Love bomb American Indians just so you can get some progeny and raise them to speak everything Morocco? That is a ultimate disrespect of living on a landmass and coming to a landmass while disrespecting the ancestors here. This is a concept that American Indians will have to learn to uh, revive. What is it? That when anybody comes here talking about they want to be in America, I to be in America, you're going to tell them, well, you better want to be in America because we ain't having you bringing some other country here. You're not going to change us to suit you. If you want to be here, guess what? You're going to become us. We're not doing colonization, not even the soft one. Because that's what that is, y'all. At the end of the day, when a colonizer comes here to marry up uh all in your family and yet don't have a shred of respect to maintaining your culture, but he wants to taint it with his, you should have never got married. The person has no respect for you. In fact, they're looking down their nose at you, to be quite real. Because the idea is you're inferior to me. That's why I'm maintaining who I am, but I'm going to make sure I knock down who you are because you're gonna be brainwashed with the narrative I give. That's a parasite, y'all. A colonizer parasite. That is what Moors are. Again, when you come in peace and you come in reverence to a landmass that you are hoping to make your home, the idea is you're going to take on their traditions, not the other way around. Because if it is the other way around, you may as well take your ass back home. Find some American Indian who's ready to throw away their birthright and run to Africa with you and make them conform to you over in your world. But again, what are Moors trying to do? They're trying to meld their world to the world of American Indians. It's not going to work. American Indians have one birthright and they better hold it tight because the thieves that are out to take it look just like you and don't give a damn about you because the intention is to make you them. That is what a Moor is. That is what a Moor does. End of story. More recently, the heritage of Moorish civilizations of northwestern Africa, as the writer told us, ancient and Islamic, is today the prey of an insane historical revisionism whose main ideology is Afrocentrism. Okay, let's see what he got to say. Ah, yeah, this is what I thought it was saying. Afrocentrism is a predatory ideology whose sole aim is the appropriation of any ancient North African civilizations. You know what? I respect this more right here. He's telling you what American Indians are doing. Now, a Moor comes here, a misguided Moor comes here and does the exact same thing with us, but this Moor is not having it when American Indians do it with them. So listen, its adherents, often African American or American Indians, in search of identity or belonging to religious sects, have the ultimate goal of excluding people, who are not Black. When I tell you the Moors come with baggage, that's exactly what I meant. So wait a minute, this is taking a bit of an interesting turn. So he's saying Moors in America want to make it all about Black. Well, that's because y'all don't understand what your Sultan is trying to do you? So the Moors in America, they know the mission, but it seems the Moors in Africa ain't getting that same mission, right? I guess because this brother ain't having it. He don't want Moorishness to be Afrocentric. But you know what? I think once again he is more genuine because I've never seen that all Moors are Black, but a Moor in America will tell you that. They're going to call the other Moors like they're inferior. Why? They believe in Allah too, right? And you accept them, right? So why are they inferior? See, these religions what's not being said in these religions, if you're not really of a certain, I guess, bloodline, that you're not really accepted. So why bother? It's just for colonization purposes. Baby, it's commerce. It ain't religion, yo. It's commerce. It ain't spirituality, yo. It's commerce. I want to read this again. Afrocentrism is for all the Moors in America. You are being told, okay? You are being read, okay? For filth, okay? Afrocentrism is a predatory ideology whose sole aim, this is a real Moor right here. Whoever wrote this is a real Moor. Why I say that is because he recognizes that all Moors are not Black. Moors in America, they have to convince American Indians that all Moors are Black. But then once American Indians join this stuff, they're going to find out different, like Malcolm did, kind of, similar. So again, your ego, I say it all the time. American Indians' egos are being rubbed by Moors, and they're telling you while they're here in your face that all Moors are Black because they want you to join the Black club. They want you to feel like it's exclusively for you. But as soon as you join, you're gonna find out I've been tricked. Now I'm part of a international sea jurisdiction of all different people. This is what a Moor brings, but the ones in America are not as uh let's say truthful or honest as this Moor is, right? So uh so American Indians are guilty, according to this Moor, of appropriation of North African civilization. You better tell the truth, brother. Now, this brother I can respect as a Moor. He is true to his roots. He is true to the assignment. He is, I guess, what they would call a clean Moor. That's what I said in another video. A real Moor to me would be one who is well, actually, what like similar to what this guy is doing. But I said he would be one that who's not trying to get Americans to think that they're one and the same. He would stand on his own because it would be enough. That would be enough. But what's happening is more. It's like they need us as a crutch. They're using American Indians as some sort of entryway because they have to, because this is not their birthright. America only becomes property of a African Moor when foolish American Indians let that happen. But this is awakening time. And I do believe you're going to see more Indians who talk like this. Why? Because we've been far too long without our land. And which we don't have any intention of sharing. We know what sharing looks like according to colonizer. It looks like genocide to American Indians. So that is why. If you hear me sounding really raw, I'm sounding like F the world. And not exactly. I'm upgrading the world. How am I doing that? I think the world will learn to appreciate their respective birthrights from an Indian like me. We're going to show you what real patriotism, what do you call it? Patriotism is. How to be a real patriot. How about we say that? Say it that way. Because if you left your homeland and come here calling yourself a patriot, something in the elevator is not elevating. You can't be a patriot in a foreign land. The only place you can be a patriot to is your true motherland. where you hail from, where your ancestors hail from. That's the only way to be a patriot. There's a new fandango patriot of people that come here and they think that they're fighting for this country. It's not possible. If you don't fight for your own, your fight here is not genuine. Only American Indians can be true patriots, and I'm sorry if that is offensive, but again, I think Americans who are not American Indian really need to get outside of the spell of the United States. They got you all under a very gratuitous uh spell, because they have it where you guys are like just discarding your birthright and expect us to believe that you have the heart to take ours and do right by it. No, you don't. You gave up yours, but mine's is not up for grabs. I mean, thank you for having a thought that you're a patriot, but how can you be? That's what I'm asking. You could just give up your own birthright and take up someone else's that easy? Well, what if they look at you as a thief? I mean, you say you're a patriot, but it's looking more like a theft to me or any American Indian. We got to line ducks up again, y'all. The idea behind America, unfortunately, it was ill-conceived, shall we say? It was an ill-conceived idea to think that a colonizer could just come here and make this like a merry-go-round. There's ancestors in this here soil. They didn't come to be played with or have their land be disrespected and turned into some kind of commercial fiasco where it's all about making money and coming here to make a living. It just degrades all parties involved. If there's something going wrong in your homeland, it really behooves an individual to fix it. It really does. There has to be some kind of karma for abandoning your home and thinking that you could just take someone else's and it's okay and it's all going to work out. Again, the whole idea behind America was ill-conceived, because truly all it was a colonization. That's all it was. It wasn't any kind of, it wasn't, oh, I care about people of the world and I'm really concerned about them. I care about the world's resources. No, it was all a grab. There was no love in this. This was all about a grand theft by people who are hiding in the upper echelons of society, the nobility who you never see, a pope who acts like it's just another day, uh, people who have to pretend that what's happening is not happening. So let's get through this article. So this brother is not happy with Afrocentrism. Afrocentrism, yeah, okay. He says that its adherents, often African Americans or American Indians who think they're African, are in search of an identity or belonging to religious sects, have the ultimate goal of excluding people who are not Black and living in North Africa from their own history by portraying them as colonists or invaders of land formerly belonging to a supposed black ethnicity. Well, I'm not thrilled with that part of what he's saying because well, in as much as we're called black, which we're not, America is it. It's an well, actually, it's an Indian, you know, uh, history and birthright. Well, let's read that again. He's saying that often African Americans, in search of identity or belonging to religious sects, have the ultimate goal of excluding people who are not Black and living in North Africa. Okay. So you're excluding the other races that live in North Africa, American Indians. That's why you have to stand on your own because North Africa is trying to entertain all races, whereas in America, you're getting a very racist version of even Nation of Islam, I think, is kind of giving us a racist thing, you know? But again, it's all to make American Indians feel special and exclusive. And then when you join, you're going to find that you're not, because all around the rest of the world, these disingenuous religions are entertaining anybody they can. Why? Because it's all about their land. And as long as they can get you to believe you are them and they're you, their land belongs to you. This is a colonization tactic, y'all. American Indians should know this by now, how religion has always been used. And then the fake brotherhood thing is also used, you know. Meanwhile, they're the worst colonizer ever, the ones who look like you. Yeah, because they can kill you and replace you because they look like you. Okay. No other race can do that except Moors. And that's exactly what their goal is. They will say anything. Meanwhile, this brother just told us the Moors originally are a group of people native to the region of present day Morocco. That's what their history says. But then the Moors in America just start rewriting history because they want to live on both continents. They have one foot on America and the other foot in Morocco, but you're all going to have to choose. If you're an American, if you're in America, I'm sorry, Moors, y'all have to choose to be American because any other way, it's you eating away at our culture, not yours, ours. So why should we have you here if you're just like a munching away at our whole entire birthright to make it yours, rewriting it, genociding? Go to Morocco and be all you want to be, but stop trying to be me. American Indians will have to draw the line. I don't think you're going to get your land back until you do, because we've already been all split up by everything and everyone. Now, when ancestors come back, they're looking for Indians who looking to be exclusive. How else can you maintain your birthright if you don't have somewhere where you know the difference between you and a thief? If you don't know the difference, you will be stolen from again. So Indians who talk about wanting their land back, you're going to have to do it as an American Indian, not some hybrid Moorish American. No, that's already been done and it failed, as we see in many instances shown in videos played by other Indians. They show you how this claiming to be Moorish never works. You have to be American Indian and you have to be able to stand on your own. Stop looking for a crutch in Moors because all they're going to do is lead you back to the same corporation that they got their sultan got in bed with to get at your resources. That's all they're going to do. They're going to lead you back to the same colonizer that the sultan got in bed with just so he can get access to all your natural resources without having to pay you for them. Okay? That is what Morocco did. So, at any American Indian claiming Morocco, you are sorely disillusioned. You're delusional. As I always say, you're really delusional. Morocco didn't do anything for you but get in bed with your colonizers. And the Morocco here, which is not the original one, sorry, y'all better go back to 711 AG and stop playing with me. Y'all better recognize your own history. And 711 AG, stop playing with me. But that Morocco in Indiana, or is it Illinois? I always get them mixed up. I believe it's Indiana. That Morocco is in a state. So it's basically a creation of colonizer, especially if it, was born in 1856. That's after the United States came along and created it. Okay, so that Morocco in Indiana, that would not have been the original name of that land. No, Eh, no. And again, even if it was, it is way after the fact of 7-Eleven in Spain. That's where Morocco, well, actually wasn't Morocco. Didn't Morocco came about after they were kicked out of Spain? Is that what happened? And then Morocco came because in the confusion, that's what Amen Hotep uh Chavez El Bey says. He says that the consular court, the Moorish consular court, fell after blacks took civil rights. My question is, if you were here and had a court, why the hell were blacks seeking civil rights? It just speaks to you were not doing anything to help, quote unquote, blacks, which led them to seek civil rights. And you said the court, your Moorish court was abolished after blacks took civil rights. And then in 1856, when your court fell, you said, uh, I'm sorry, wait, was it 19 something? Yeah, it was 19. I forgot. When Africa, when the African Morocco was created. That's what you saying that happened after you left America because blacks took civil rights. And then the Morocco in, but y'all been zigzagging because again, you were already in Spain in 7-Eleven. So what happened? You left Spain in 7-Eleven. No, I'm sorry, in 1492. Um, and then went underground for a while, then popped up in America in 1856. Is that what happened? So after you got uh defeated in Spain, did you creep your ass over here unbeknownst to everyone else? You saying a pharaoh gave you permission? Was it a pharaoh in Africa by any chance? But then again, no, there was no pharaohs. The dynasties had been stopped. So I was gonna share with my audience how I think they might be claiming a pharaoh gave them permission. It it may be that they found some kind of writing. You know what I'm saying? That's the because the pharaohs were long gone in 1856. Pharaohs stopped being a thing in the BC time frame. So for them to reappear in 1856 to give the Moors permission to settle Morocco in America, they must have found some kind of old African pharaoh's writings or something. That's the only thing I could think of, because you know, and use that as an excuse to come into America. But again, regardless, they are still coming from Africa and Spain. They did not originate in America according to their story, and also because America was seen as the new world, and the Moors never said otherwise. At that time, the Moors did not tell the people, oh no, that's the old world. Where we come from there. They never said nothing like that. So we're gonna take their own words of the Moors and use it against them and compel them to go back home to the Morocco they love so much. You know, you can't come to America and boo love on Morocco. It doesn't make sense. Either you love America and hate of Morocco. You can't serve two masters. That's what your scripture said. So why are you trying to? So he's saying American blacks think that they own all Moors are black, and this guy is saying, "Oh no, they're not." So stop with your nonsense. Look how contradictory all this is. You know, American Indians, you have to stay out of this. So you portray. They're saying that you portraying the other races as colonists or invaders of land formerly belonging to a supposedly black ethnicity. So he's not. He's basically saying that we were supposedly black in America. So he might be with the Siberian. He might be down with the Siberian version of America, because he's basically saying that we are claiming that but actually he's talking about other Moors, not Indians. I think so. He's calling out the Moors in America who are claiming to be from America as the first black people, and he's kind of the way he's saying this. It sounds like he's saying he doesn't. He's not rolling with that narrative. Whether Egyptian, Greek, or Carthaginian civilization, none has escaped this revisionism that is increasingly sneaking into the American media, as well as into the agenda of certain organizations such as Amnesty International, which in a publication on social networks declared that the history of the Black American people was therefore Moroccan, Indonesian, Egyptian, and many other countries. So he doesn't. This Moore doesn't buy it. He doesn't buy it. I kind of think he's not quote unquote black. Yeah. Wow. So he's saying it sounds like he's saying the history of Black American people is not Moroccan, Indonesian, and Egyptian. Oh, he's showing it. See, he doesn't he doesn't agree with this. That Black history is American history. Black history is Guyanese history. Black history is British history. Black he doesn't like this, yo. Okay, so I think what I'm sensing is that this is not a person of color. But you see, this is what the Moors have to deal with. They have to deal with their conflicting stories, telling people in America that, oh, everything was black, but then telling their Moors on other continents, well, let us just say that so these Negroes can get on board, please. White Moors and Arab Moors and Asian Moors and Spanish Moors. We gotta, you know, we gotta make these American Indians feel special because they, we beat them down. So I gotta do this, y'all. Let me do. And some of them are saying, "Hell no, it ain't true. We are. Why are you excluding us now just to get them freaking Negroes? I'm a whole white Moor and I'm a whole Asian Moor. What the fuck? What you doing? See, that's the lies of the Moors. Why do American Indians want to be part of this bullshit? Haven't you been lied to about your own history enough that you don't need to take on somebody else's world of lies? New world order of lies. So this brother ain't having all this everything was black shit that's going on with Moors in America. In the case of the Moors, these attempts at appropriation are carried out by a sect, oh shit, called the Moorish Temple of Science, founded in 1913 by noble Drew Ali. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. An African American claiming to be the successor of the prophet in Islam. Oh boy. Oh boy. It sounds like trouble in the Moorish paradise, y'all. It sounds like trouble in the Moroccan windmills of these Moors' minds, yo. So let's read this one more time. In the case of the Moors, these attempts at appropriation, he's calling y'all culture vultures. But you kind of are Moors. Come on now. You want to be everything to everybody, right? I mean, you'll play that and to bring them into your culture. So they're genociding themselves to be with you, and you're cheapening yourself by insisting on having them, but not really, right? Because the more say, well, it depends on what you mean by cheapening. I'm gaining all their land. So what are you talking about? I just made like $1 billion just by getting these knuckleheads to think that they're Moors too. So what you talking about? I'm cheapening. I just made myself more pricey, yo. I just up my value, yo. I just upgrade myself. Okay, all right now. Because it's all about commerce, right? They don't care about no damn birthright. Once they have you, they have your birthright. In the case of the Moors, these attempts at appropriation are carried out by a sect called, so he's squarely laying it on the Moorish Temple of Science. And apparently, this is the first major Moorish entity in America. As much as Moors try to distance themselves, this seems to be the very first entity of a Moorish origin in America, and it was in 1913 by Noble Drew Ali, an African American claiming to be the successor of the prophet in Islam. This organization will work by appropriating the flag of modern Morocco. Oh my gosh. And all of its civilizational heritage in order and in the false prophet's own words to give identity and pride to its followers. They're rubbing your ego, American Indians. I done told you this. You don't need an ego rub. Baby, you got apparently one of the most valued land masses on the face of the planet. You don't need no ego rub. You just need your land back. and these vultures to go back home. That's what you need, American Indians. But when you claim this land, I'm telling you, you're only going to be American Indian. You ain't going to be nothing else. You're not going to be a Moor. You're not going to be an Asiatic black man. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. You're not going to be nothing but an American Indian, okay? That is the only way you're going to get this land, boo-boo. That's the only way. Try to be something else, you're just going to have to go be that somewhere else. If you have these like major attachments and you know, these major, what do you call it, uh you know, proclivity to claim Morocco, you're gonna have to go to Morocco. Put your money where your mouth is. Put your money where your Moroccan mouth is. Make life easy for you, okay? Make it easy on yourself, you know. But again, when they're on a mission to get people's birthrights, I don't think they think straight. Or they're gonna say that is where the money is in your birthright. That's why I gotta love Morocco, but stay here and give you lip service. Okay. The ideology of this sect is therefore in line with the Afrocentrist discourse in general. See, he's not appreciating that Noble Drew Ali made it all about blackness. First of all, he shouldn't even like the term black, but that is something that the Moors created. Basically, yes, it's a they created the caste system. Okay, so they're the ones that keep using this word black, and then he mad that you're using it. Okay, and then you shouldn't call people by color. Then, yo, if you give them their, if you care to recognize people's nationality, we wouldn't have these misnomers to begin with. Um, the ideology of this sect is therefore in line with the Afrocentrist discourse in general, which, if not fought, risks seeing its theories popularized through American cinema, recent historical books, and so on. In this article, the use of the word black, an adjective used simplistic, what? Simplistically and erroneously by American theorists refers to an ethnicity that is supposed to be united because of its dark skin color. In reality, the majority of American Indians, he derailed. He just derailed. The majority of American Indians belong to the Bantu ethnic group. No, the fuck we don't. There was no Bantu when I was walking this earth, yo. When my ancestors was here, there wasn't no such thing as no damn Bantu. You got it twisted. Which has no cultural, historical, or genetic relationship with other African populations sharing the same complexion. So this more is in abject opposition to the notion that you are the same people just because you have a same skin tone. And I have to say, for coming from a Moor, that is quite refreshing. Quite refreshing. This is a Moor that does not believe that because we have the same skin tone, therefore we are one. He's not into that. But again, I do think that this person may not be what we would call or what the world calls black. Okay. And we would call him black because he's African, right? Okay. He admits that Moors originated in North Africa. But he's saying that there's a group of Africans that are not, even in Africa, they're not all the same. Because he's saying that, oh, wait a minute. Well, actually, he's calling American Indians as belonging to the Bantu. I don't know where he got that. But anyway, let's move down. Origins of the Moors and antiquity. At its genesis, the word Moor, taken from the Latin for Mori, referred to the tribe with the same name in the north of present-day Morocco. Okay, so here's Mori over here. Uh, I guess that's north of Morocco. Okay. Uh, this term will describe all the surrounding civilizations. So Moor describes all the surrounding civilization. Marusi in Punic, Mori in Greek, Mauritania in Latin, as a synonym for the word West. Then, and with the annexation of Numidia, present-day Algeria, by King Bocchus or Bacchus, this word will be extended to all inhabitants of Mauritania, just as was the term Al-Maghrib a millennium later. The Moors were several groups of Berbers. Okay, the Moors were several groups of Berbers who played a significant role in the history of the Roman Empire. See, the Moors had a lot to do with Rome, which Walter Williams tells us that in his book, The Origin of Christianity. What's the name of the book? The Historical Origins of Christianity. Yes. Leading kingdoms opposing Rome, such as Mauritania under Bacchus first, I'm sorry, Bacchus the First, and Mastinassos, to important allies and clients such as Ptolemy of Mauritania. Oof, what? The history of the Moors was very well documented by historians of antiquity in view of their proximity. Some Roman emperors and governors of Berber origins. So that's some Roman and okay. Okay, let me see. I'm sorry. I am getting tongue twisted because I'm tired. I am just okay. Do we have a lot more? I think these are all pictures, and we're just gonna, these are all Roman Moors, I guess. Is that there? Some Roman emperors and governors of Berber origins. Yes. Okay, because Berbers are Moors, right, from North Africa. So, okay, okay. Okay. However, according to Afrocentrist theories, the Moorish kingdoms, as well as the populations of the Roman domain, would have belonged to this supposed Black ethnicity. A fact that, according to them, would be maliciously masked by historians for reasons of racism or other. For others, the Moors were part of the Egyptian world, which they also considered to be originally Black people. Oh, yeah. Finally, the third group considers the Moors to be cousins of the Hebrews, relying on the statutes of, uh, uh, I'm sorry, relying on the statutes of Jesus in Black in Poland, relying on the statues of Jesus in Black in Poland. Okay. All right. So he's not having it, y'all. This is obviously false, as the representations, often in the form of mosaics or busts, demonstrate the opposite. The Moors represented themselves as having a fair complexion and with more Mediterranean features than anything else. Here is a gallery of ancient representations found in Morocco and currently in various museums in the kingdom. Well, in their kingdom, I think, well, there's some dark ones. They would make them look like the people that are there, but the idea is, oh, they started out darker. But anyway, Islamic period and changes in the term. However, depending on the Roman period, this word took on a different meaning. At the time of the first Muslim conquest of North Africa, Count Julian's Mauritania and his particular alliance with the Berber commander Tariq ibn Ziyad, leading the efforts of the Arab Umayyad Empire, culminated in the conquest of the Iberian Peninsula, culminated in the conquest of the Iberian Peninsula, now Andalusia. Christian civilizations will very quickly extend the use of the word Moor or Moor in English to any Arab or Berber Muslim in a North African region. These Moors of Andalusia, combining different Arab, Hispanic, and Berber cultural elements, will see a civilization flourishing culturally, economically, and scientifically. The Almoravid, Almoravid, Almohad, and Marinid empires are, in the Moroccan context, an example illustrating the continuity of this Moorish as well as Berber component beyond antiquity and well through the Islamic Golden Age. Afrocentrist arguing points. The main points of support for the Afrocentrist agenda border on fantasy or even science fiction. For them, the first Black ethnic group would have reigned over the world in peace until the arrival of albinos or fair-skinned people. These peoples would not only have enslaved them, but erased their history in order to better enslave them. Well, that's what they did with us. Put us to sleep, they said. As admirable as it is, the myth of unfortunately, I'm sorry, remains based on a dichotomous vision of the world, opposing blacks, a mono-ethnic people, against a world of multicolored colonies. As for the Moorish Temple sect, they believe that Morocco was a nation located between Africa and America, Morocco, Almorica, America, based on the recognition of the United States under the Alawite, Alawite Sultan Muhammad III. They believe that America was a Moorish dominion and therefore managed by Bantus, by Bantus. Finally, they rely on the Moors Sundry Act of 1790 to legitimize their ideas. This law prevented nationals or the Alawite Empire. Okay, okay. Being tried slaves on American soil. Okay. So the Sundry Act prevented nationals of the Alawite Empire from being tried as slaves on American soil. Therefore, in the absence of scientific and concrete evidence Adherents of this ideology use Orientalist portraits and pseudoscience as explanation. Orientalism is an artistic current that emerged in the 19th century from the curiosity of Europeans during the colonial era. Its artists, often Belgian, German, or Hungarian, therefore having no contract with North Africa, will often exaggerate it, not give exotic features to the subject represented, as well as their skin color. Okay. This civil colorization was intended to deprecate North African subjects and legitimize a saving and civilizing colonization. There is also an amalgamation due to the fact that the word Moher means Negro in German. Moor, I'm sorry, means Negro in German. Elsewhere, if they were not portraits of slaves, they were often also re re-imagings of Muslim Andalusia centuries after the departure of Moorish civilization. The reality, the original and modern Moors, that is to say, the Moroccans of today, as well as the Maghreb populations who have seen this term extend to them throughout history, are not as different as their ancestors. Indeed, event, uh, indeed, even in the middle of the 20th century, the Sultanate of Morocco and its inhabitants were commonly called the Moorish Kingdom. What science tells us. Genetic studies, in addition to the stories of anthropologists such as Ibn Khaldun, prove that there is a clear distinction between Moors and populations of sub-Saharan origin. Y chromosome haplogroup studies uh, I'm sorry, Y chromosome haplogroup studies transmitted from father to son are used to determine the paternal descent of any person. The most frequent haplogroup in Morocco is is the E-M35, which is present in approximately 70 to 85% of Moroccans. This same haplogroup can be divided into several haplotypes, the most relevant in this context being the E-M81 and E-M78 haplotype. The latter were found in skeletons dating back to 7,000 and 15,000. I'm sorry, yeah, 15,000, 150, what is that? 70,000, no, 7,000 and 15,000 years, respectively, in Morocco, making it a testament to the genetic continuity of the Moroccan people. Indeed, the presence of EM81 can reach up to 98% in the most Berber regions of the country, such as the South region. Arabization and argument often used by Afrocentrists to explain the complexion of North Africans has also not contributed to a genetic replacement of the local population because even in the most Arabized cities, paternal ancestry remains mostly Berber of origin. Of course, there are Moroccans of the or Arab. Uh, I'm sorry. Of course, there are Moroccans of Arab or other ancestry today, but we'll explore that in another article. I'm sorry. I was getting extremely tired. So if I didn't read correctly, I apologize. But I just wanted to, do a video of separation of American Indians from Moors because it will really take American Indians to take their birthright back exclusively. And that's what has to happen. We can't claim more, or if we do, not to the detriment or secondary to your American Indian heritage, which must come first. So I think I'm gonna uh, cut it here, as I am hella tired and I was starting to read crazy because I'm tired, and say thank you for watching. Until next time, I wish you peace, health, wealth, your land back, your identity back without the Moorish part, and all the great things. Till next time.